Thank you everyone for joining us today. We will tag team with Lynn and we'll share some slides, and we encourage everyone to drop some questions or any thoughts that you may have through the chat. We'll be happy to leave some time at the end to address those. All right, so Lynn, hopefully you see my slides, and that will mean that everybody else will see slides. So as Hunter mentioned, we would like to engage in a conversations around age at work, age in the society, the norms that shape our perspective about age, and what's considered healthy age, what's considered not so appropriate age for the work environment or for a political standing. Whatever your perspective is, hopefully will bring and reframe your idea of how we might be able to lean into the conversation around the age, and not only embrace it as a concept that we all go through throughout our life, but also tapping into all the intelligence, the experiences, the knowledge, the wisdom that we accumulate as we age, and apply it towards something meaningful and impactful for the rest of us. So let's start with kind of age. And in this example, we just had kind of an arbitrary number of 50 plus. And for no other reason than the research was providing us with that bracket. But it's not to say that if you reach 50, suddenly you become old, or if you're under 50, suddenly you're young. So why 50 plus, and why this population is important to us, right? First of all, population of 50 plus, they contribute significant amount to the global GDP. So 34% of the global GDP was contributed by consumers in over 50 age bracket. And that number is expected to grow to 59 by 2050. So that's a huge amount of contribution and investment in the global GDP and economies worldwide. We also, and I will say we, because I'm part of this population too, we spend on a lot of products and services we consume, and about a third of jobs are that are generating about 23 trillion in labor income are supported by this group as well. So these are people with disposable income or otherwise who are able to invest either in certain offerings, in certain services and healthcare, and able as a result to generate income for workers who deliver on those offerings. By 2050, this population, 50 plus, will support 1.5 billion jobs around the world. So that's a huge generation of employment, generation of financial stability, and the labor impact itself will be doubling to $53 trillion. So in short, I think the summary of the takeaway from this conversation is it is really a big portion of the population with significant impact and voting power and wallet share. So it is important for organizations, for producers of different offerings to pay attention. And as we age, we continue to stay employed, some because we want to be contributing to the welfare, and they want to add to our financial security in the long term. Some of us are forced to do it. Organizations, unfortunately, and work environments are not necessarily set up to accommodate and embrace us as we get older. If we think about HR practices, rarely people as they get older will be included in development programs or considered high potential, right? A lot of those are skewed towards younger workers. accommodations are not always present in the work environment. And as we all know, as we age, sometimes our physical capacities and cognitive capacities might decline. And while it is a law in the US to provide accommodations, not all of the individuals will be willing to self-disclose. And not many organizations would deem that as an important investment to make, be that in their physical office space design or in their digital technologies. Additionally, when we think about the products that companies develop, most of the time, you would think about focus groups and surveys and studies done around younger cohorts. Rarely products are designed for older people to be appealing and interesting and sexy and exuberant. Most of the time, whatever is designed for older is considered medical. It should be medical grade. Therefore, design is not the primary reason and driver for consideration in the development. And it's a huge missed opportunity because, as we mentioned on a previous slide, we have significant wallet share that can really contribute and be tapped into to bring tailored and adaptive and accessible and attractive products to this population. More importantly, when we think about the society at large, again, we consider as you get older that you lose your independence, and a lot of the products and offerings are really driven to some degree to isolate you, to drive some of that social loneliness, right? We see segregation by age in retirement villages. We see segregation by age in community centers where programs are designed. There's no multi-generational cross-pollination to provide opportunity for younger generation to learn from the wisdom, from the experience older people can bring, and vice versa, cross-train and get older people excited about new technologies, about new trends, and keep all generations in communications and supporting each other as we progress through our life stages. So that's why we're here. We are trying to address this problem. Lynn, off to you.
Okay, thanks, Stella. So hi, everyone. Delighted to be with you today. So yeah, as Stella said, this is a massive global issue. It's huge for the US in terms of, bottom line is how can we help people to fulfill their potential? How can we help people to live as happier, healthier, longer, better life as possible? And fundamental to what we're doing is kind of looking at this intelligence that we need to do this. What are the skills? What are the mechanisms, the products and services that we need to do this? And intelligence is pretty well everywhere. Almost every day you might turn on the TV or the news, and there's new discoveries, there's new inventions, which kind of demonstrate just the enormous brilliance of us, our communities, to kind of design solutions and create tools that were maybe just unimaginable just a few years older. There's also enormous intelligence in projects and our businesses, but also this intelligence is in us. It's in our human experience, as Stella said, in terms of generating just enormous knowledge and the wisdom that stems from our everyday lives, but also our professional experience. And I guess, we are about imagining, what if we integrated all of these different sources of intelligence and really had the power to together learn from people's different experience and really amplify this so that we've got a real understanding of people's aspirations and desires, and we can bring together the strengths and capabilities of different people, communities, and different generations and cultures. So that's what we're on a mission to do, is really to add intelligence to this global challenge of living longer and adding that to aging and longevity. And we call this aging intelligence. In the next slide, I'm going to introduce you to Voice. And Voice is a global community, a network of different people, communities, working closely with companies and with different institutions. And together we're about really really valuing our skills, our knowledge, and our wisdom together to really kind of think through how we can actually create the products and solutions and the experiences that we need to live healthier, better, more fulfilling, longer lives. And as I said at the start, really fulfill our potential. So voice actually stands for valuing our intellectual capital and experience, which is a bit of a mouthful. But fundamentally, it's about saying that, we need to come together as individuals, as people, and share what we think we need, so that we can really understand what are our priorities here. What are our challenges? Okay, we need to work longer, but we also have caring, responsibilities. How do we pay for this education and for reskilling? How do we encourage our employers to kind of understand these issues? And how do we embrace kind of digital solutions in terms of e-learning and so on? There's such a big agenda here, but voice is about bringing a community together of women, of people from all backgrounds, all ages, to help us to think together and co-create and co-develop the products and services and solutions that we need for healthier, happier, longer lives.
I want to put a double click and an emphasis on the point of all ages. We all age from the moment we're born. We all can encounter conditions that may require different accommodations or different adaptations at any age. The goal is to bring this community together in a unified voice to build solutions that are designed for all ages. When we have older parents, we as caregivers may need new solutions. When we are younger, we may have a physical disability, either permanent or temporary. It could be the same disability that can happen to older people. So the goal is to really bring together a multitude of voices across multitude of ages to create solutions for healthy longevity, whether that's a work solution, that's a personal life choice, a lifestyle solution, or it's a workplace and societal solution. So how do we engage with the community and how we connect all the members of the network is through a platform. It's called Voice Platform. It is a custom-built, purpose-built digital platform that allows people to engage with different projects. It is built with all the data protection considerations in mind. It is designed to be, think of it as a marketplace. We have the ability for businesses, for researchers, for investors to submit projects they need support with and they need feedback. And then on the other side, you have the members of the communities who are deciding to engage. They choose what information or what type of projects they're interested in. They choose what type of products or offers will be relevant to them. And then there are flexible ways to engage with these projects. Some of these can be surveys or polls. Some of it can be a longer term study. Some of it can be in-person gatherings where you provide feedback, get an experiential workshop to interact with whatever the product or the service that is being tested. So it allows for a flexible approach to engage with the community and engage with the community at large, and at the same time personalize the type of offerings that are available based on the interest of the members as well. At the core, I think the insights that are coming from these type of interactions and research are not only benefiting the solution providers, but also all of us, because now we can look across cohorts or different initiatives, different research efforts to start gleaning patterns that can be used to then educate the policy development, to inform workplace practices, to really bring insights about the human needs that are still unmet, that can benefit from new offerings and new services. All right, Lynn, back to you.
So I just thought it'd be useful to kind of go through a few kind of examples of kind of how voice has worked over the last few years. And we're very much driven by the community's priorities, their needs, their aspirations, and then proactively really look to work with companies, as Stella said, and organizations which can really kind of drive and deliver on those unmet needs, priorities, and aspirations. So very grounded in what the community is saying, but then the joy is that the community comes together and we have that opportunity to really deliver on those. So just to give you a couple of examples, the first one is a company, Piaggio, who you might have come across, the Vespa scooter. They're based in Boston in the States, and they've actually developed this cute little robot, which is a cargo carrying robot. It kind of follows you around. And it was really kind of originally developed for young students and families in Boston who might be going on a picnic or something like that. And so a very kind of cool little cargo carrying robot. But then a lot of the voice members said to us that they really thought that this could work for older people, given that around about 80% of the world's population live in cities. We've got major issues with 60% of older people having kind of difficulty carrying something. Many people at work, for example, nurses and teachers having to carry kind of large amounts of papers and so on and so forth. Maybe the JITA could be repurposed for helping people in midlife and later life too. And so we've been trialing the JITA robot in shopping malls, in airports, for example. And, you know, apart from anything else, it just been a very lovely example of bringing people together and the power of connecting. JITA it really kind of makes you smile, but grandparents have seen how they could use this to collect their kids from school. And it's just an example of a real product that is developed for another market, but we've been able to work with voice members to see the real potential for kind of that particular project helping people in the workforce, and women have found it particularly useful as well. The second company in the middle there is an organization called Chimera, which is based in the US and in the UK. And really, Chimera is about, if you think about it, you know, in terms of living healthier for longer, we know that we've got to shift the dial to prevention. We're managing currently a lot of people who have kind of a lot of health problems, mobility problems, and yet we need people to have confidence in terms of continuing to kind of be healthy, to be fit and healthy in order to kind of live life to the full, especially working longer. And Chimera is a female-based company, which is particularly looking at women's health and actually looking at how we can actually feed on and understand women's anxieties about exercising in later life. So a lot of women told us they were particularly anxious about hurting their back or making an existing injury worse. And Chimera has leggings and clothing that we might all wear to do kind of, you know, our favorite form of exercise, be it running, or going to the gym. But it's got sensor technology embedded within it. And it really gives that real-time, personalized, tailored feedback to you as a person on what you need to do in order to exercise to prevent injury. So women have loved testing this, and women all over Voice have trialed these leggings, given feedback to the company, and the company then has taken that feedback and improved the product. So, you know, hopefully it's much more fit for purpose. And people have really enjoyed kind of doing that kind of, you know, tailored advice and guidance, but making a massive difference to women and all our abilities to prevent injury and to continue to exercise and keep fit and healthy. And then the final one is, you know, we also do a lot of kind of assessment technology. For example, people came across kind of looking at care responsibilities for parents. And Voice has actually put a large program of work on into how we can actually help carers, people who are working and caring, to have the products and services that they need to help be carers whilst also balancing this work-life balance. And so a number of companies that we've worked with to develop kind of assistive technologies in the home, all with the spirit of actually helping people have a better quality of life, no matter what stage of life they're at. All our products that Stella said, all the projects that we do are really driven by Voice members' priorities. And it's a wonderful chance to kind of come together as a community, share our experiences, but also our ideas and our suggestions about how we might improve things.
And we have a very relevant to this specific point, comment from Sue. And the question is, will you discuss the power of multi-generational teams in developing programs and services? And this is the perfect example of that. And I think organizations can choose to create teams within their companies. So create multi-generational teams with different diverse experiences. The beauty of a model like Voice, you can augment your team. So in essence, if you don't have internal resident population that can represent certain demographic or certain age group, Voice is the destination where you can tap into the diversity of the global presence and get feedback in a way that allows to augment and improve what you're building. And then we have questions. How would you use the robot to collect the kids from school? That's curious. They are actually working on a larger size. If the child is appropriately sized, they may fit. But absolutely, it can follow you and you can put all the heavy objects. And what's interesting, by observing how people interact with Jita, it's also encouraging people to have conversations. It creates eye contact. How many times we've noticed that as we get older, people don't want to look into our eyes. This serves as a little pet. People start being curious. They want to have a conversation. So it breaks some of the social barriers to also provide just a human connection and opportunity for that. Who knew that a little mini robot on wheels can provide that type of opportunity?
Absolutely. So, and I think, I just got a quote here from Rashmi, who's a very valued Voice member, as all members. But he's basically saying that, a lot of people often are sitting in home and they have a lot to say, they have a lot of knowledge, but they don't know quite how to share it. And what Voice do, we give people that kind of opportunity to share that knowledge and to connect, to help generations coming through. A lot of our members might be semi-retired, but they also are helping new founders, new businesses to come through and accelerate. And we are so much valuing their experience and really helping people to make a real difference to current generations, but also into the future.
So geographically, we mentioned that Voice is a global network. We already have operating chapters in Canada, in Australia, in Italy, where different models, in some cases is partnership with universities, in some cases is philanthropy sponsored, especially if you think about Italy as a country with significant demographic challenges, right? There is a lot of energy and interest in this space. I represent Voice US. We are opening the chapter in the US later this year, and we have a variety of other geographical destinations to bring this technology, this model and ways of engaging. And as you can see, right, in Southeast Asia, where also demographic challenges are going to put pressure, there is significant interest in using the input from Voice to shape not only products and business and commercial activities, but also urban design, policies, caregiving practices and norms, etc. So hopefully this presentation gave you a good overview of what Voice is all about. And we really hope that you will join us on this journey. At the moment, we only collecting email addresses for those who are interested to hear more from us. And then as we start deploying the platform in the US, you'll be the first one to know. So Lynn, any other closing thoughts and comments?
No, just to say we would love to hear from you and join us on the journey. I think it's something that affects pretty well every country, every community, every family. And, Voice is a community where we are wanting to just empower us as family members, as women, as communities, just to join together to co-develop and co-create the products and services that we're all going to need to live healthier, happier lives. So I really look forward to hearing from you.